लेना सेशन को, ठीक है?
Yes, sir, sure.
Sure. Right. So good evening, everyone. Welcome all of you. My name is Rajneesh Negi, and I welcome you all on behalf of PMT India Learning, which is an initiative by pharmaceutical brand managers across India. And we have come together to spark creativity and thinking. And I welcome you all along with our media partner, which is Imagica Health, who are into digital ideas, BTP strategies, and marketing automation. Next slide, please. We conduct a lot of webinars, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, brand workshop, and we also have a team which does the PMT freelancing. So you can reach out to us at rajneesh@pmtindialearning.com, and our contact number is 9999987679. Today, it's an honor for us, and thank you so much. I would like to welcome our guest of honor today, Hitesh Upreti sir, as I call him, who is an international pharma professional, who is also a former CEO and MD of Zenufa Laboratories Limited, right? And he's a special task force member for UNDP, EAC, WHO, SADC, and many other organizations. He is also a very enthusiastic cyclist and marathoner, and he has inspired a lot of people to take up cycling and marathon. So, sir, thank you so much. It's an honor for us to have you on board. And
thank you, Rajneesh. Thank you very much.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah. In fact, it is now many months since me and Rajneesh were talking about this particular, session. I think from late last year.
Yes, sir.
But now, today is the day.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Rajneesh, and thanks a lot for PMT India to give me this honor to be here in this forum today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome you this session of PMT India. I am a member of PMT India since the inception of PMT India, I believe, and I really appreciate the work Rajneesh is doing. Lot of work and without any gain. So I thank Rajneesh for giving a lot of learning to all of us. Okay. Coming to my topic today is about international marketing, for which Rajneesh was, we were speaking since long that we can have a session on this particular subject. So let me start with myself. Okay, my introduction, I'm one among you from a small town, from a small place from India. I come basically from Uttarakhand. I had my studies from different places in Uttarakhand. Then I joined a pharma profession as medical representative in 1990 with Alidec Genetics and Pharmaceuticals. Alidec was a division of Cadila, and for your information, Alidec was a second division in the industry. Earlier we used to have only one company from one particular organization. So it was Ranbaxy, then Stencare was the division, and from Cadila it was Alidec was the division. So in 1990 I joined with, I started my career with Alidec, and within few months in Alidec I could understand if you have to reach in the top, that product management is the right way of moving. Means now we are in 2021. I'm talking for 1990, so around 31 years back. Industry was very different. Okay, so I have seen in Cadila all top bosses were from PMT, though all of them started as a medical rep, and then they moved to PMT. From there they moved up. So my dream that time was to be a product manager, which I eventually became in 96 in Ranbaxy. In 95, Ranbaxy has started a new division called Solus, and Tarun Gupta has Mr. Tarun Gupta has launched that company Solus. Many of you would know that Mr. Tarun Gupta is known as a father of Indian pharma marketing. Mr. Tarun Gupta was the person who started Visualate in Indian pharma. So I had a privilege to learn product management under Mr. Tarun Gupta. So I was with the Ranbaxy Solus under the leadership of Mr. Tarun Gupta, where I learned when I entered into PMT under Mr. Gupta, though I've learned from many other bosses then. Then I again went to field, and my last tenure in India was with Novartis. And in 2006, I moved to Kenya in international. This is also a story which I would like to share at this particular platform. That time in 2005, 2006, there was a big ad in Ascent. There was a, in Times of India on Wednesdays, there used to be this ad, the job ad in Ascent. So there was a half-page ad of IPCA for international marketing. So that, there were many levels in that particular ad. So I also applied through that ad, and then I forgot. Then after some months, I came to know that my boss has joined IPCA, who has also applied from the same ad. So then I told him, boss, मेरी application भी पड़ी है वहाँ, अब आप देख लीजिएगा, आप वहाँ पहुँच गए हैं. Okay. So after some months, he called me, and then I got into international pharma. Then it is again a good story in last 15 years. With God's grace, I did well. From country manager, I moved to as DGM in Aurobindo. Then I moved to some African companies. There is a company called Aspen Pharmacare, which happens to be the #1 pharma company of Africa. So I was the chief marketing officer of that particular company. Then my last assignment was with a company called Zenufa Laboratories, which happens to be the second largest pharmaceutical company of Tanzania. I was serving there as a CEO and MD. So that is about me. Why I told this long story, because many of you can relate with me. Many of you are product manager who came from the. That's what it means. There is a path. There is a way we can progress in our careers. Rajnish, can we move to the second slide, please? Career in international pharmaceuticals business and insight. Most of us, we are generally very, very keen to understand or even to go to the international pharma business, international pharma marketing. So I would like to share whatever my understanding is about this particular subject, which may benefit to you, maybe only for the knowledge purpose or maybe for your career progression also. Just take it as a learning, as more understanding of pharma jobs. Then it depends on your wish, your will, and your luck to get into the international pharma business. Next. Rajnish, next, please.
Ankit, next slide, please.
Okay, I would give a brief history how international pharma is started. This will put our talk in a perspective. International pharma was basically, it was a old business since the pharma started. Pharma started as soon as we got the independence, and then with the time the industry grew. So in early 90s, 50s, 60s, even 70s, it was more of a trading business. We used to have traders in major metros, maybe Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Delhi, Calcutta, and they used to sell the pharmaceuticals to outside India, I would say. There were two kinds of businesses. One where a particular buyer will come to India and he will buy the goods from these wholesalers, I would say. And the other was there were some merchant wholesalers, merchant exporters who used to go to the country. They used to take order, they used to get money, and they used to send goods to the different countries, mainly in Asian countries and African countries, and to some extent CIS countries. That time it was only Russia. So these were the few avenues for Indian pharma businessmen that time. Then with the time, the regulation in international pharma got stringent. we had many stringent regulatory authorities came up, like US FDA, though US FDA started in 1906, then UK MHRA, TGA Australia, all these authorities came. And then the overall pharma export became bit challenging. The main challenge was the product development, because product was to be developed, or still product has to be developed as per the guidelines of that particular regulatory authority, be it UK MHRA, be it US FDA or EU or PICS. So the business became tougher because the systems were quite stringent and systems were costly. The dossier development, the validation, analytics, the standardization, all were quite costly in terms of the capital investment of your QA, QC, as well as then the production. So the industry took back, I would say, and then with the time, industry grew. So, which I will tell with the next slide. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah. So the pioneer in Indian export, or Indian previous one, Indian international business was Ranbaxy. Ranbaxy was the first company which went into international marketing, and Ranbaxy has a name across. Wherever Ranbaxy will go, they will go with the zeal to show that it is one of the best company. They will have the best people in the company, in the particular subsidiary. They will have their offices in the best of the best location, that best business location, such as now we say that Bandra Kurla complex or those kind of locations. They used to have their offices, whether it is Paris, whether it is Nairobi, whether it is Cambodia, or any place. So that is how Ranbaxy started. With Ranbaxy, then I would say early 90s, most of the companies, those top 10 company of the Indian pharma, they also went into international marketing, be it Intas, be it Sun, Torrent, Lupin, Cadila. Cadila Laboratories Limited that time, it was a United Cadila. So most of these companies, they went in bits and pieces, 1-2 countries in this continent, 1-2 countries, other continents. So that's how they started. And there were some small players who have also ventured into international marketing, such as Unique was a very strong brand in Russia. Flamingo was a good name in quite a few African as well as Latin American countries. So it's true with Agio, again, Kusum Healthcare. So these are the few smaller companies which went to the international marketing, and all the big players. So that's how Indian started going into international. And with the time, international marketing has, international business has two section, I would say. One is the regulated market, other is the semi-regulated, or we say it rest of the world. Regulated market are those markets where the regulatory environment is quite stringent, or we call it is governed by the SRA, that is Stringent Regulatory Authority. In nutshell, there are few countries where we have these SRAs, and then comes rest of the world. Next slide, Ankit, please. In regulated market, we have US, Canada, Europe, Japan, South Korea, South Africa, Australia, and most of the European countries. That is one part where the the revenue is highest. Revenue is quite high. Number of men of today's subject, not because today our focus is more into international marketing as a job seeker, as a pharma professional. So we will not talk more about regulated market. We will talk more about the rest of world. Next slide, Ankit. So rest of world, which we also call ROW. These are the major sections, I would say. South have Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, and Hong Kong and Singapore, which are majorly the regional offices for the multinationals. Not many Indian expatriates will go via Indian companies in these two countries. Then we have CIS, where we have Russia, we have Kazakhstan, we have Uzbekistan, Ukraine, all these countries. Then we have MENA region. MENA region is Middle East and North Africa, whether we have the all Middle East countries like UAE, Saudi, Jordan. Then we have Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, Libya, all these countries. Then we have Sub-Saharan Africa. Sub-Saharan Africa is African continent minus Northern Africa minus South Africa. So if you know, in Africa, we have around 54 countries in total. So out of 54 countries, we have around 45 to 48 countries in Sub-Saharan Africa. Though in all the countries, we would not have the Indian expatriate. Though for your information, across world, in any and in every country, we will have Indian pharma products. So Indian pharma products are available across the world, practically in every country. But as far as the field force is concerned, or as far as the pharma professionals are concerned, we may not be there in every country. Then LATAM is Latin America. Latin America is basically the countries like Brazil, Cambodia, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Dominican Republic, Mexico. These are the countries that is North South of American countries are the LATAM. So these are the main market where we have more of the Indian pharma profession or assisting in Indian companies or the business. Okay, now when it comes to avenue, what are the avenues for me in international pharma? You know, we have two avenues. One is I can get into international pharmaceuticals profession via an Indian company, or I can get via an overseas company. In Indian company, there are two kind of Indian companies, I would say. One is Indian company which is operating in domestic pharma as well as in international pharma. Most of the Indian companies, they are there in both the segments. There are few companies which are focusing more on regulated market, or there are few companies which are focusing more on maybe only US market. And there are few companies which are focusing even the regulated market as well as ROW. And there are a few companies which are focusing mainly on ROW. This mainly depends on few factors. The number one factors is the company's capability of regulatory team or regulatory affairs, and of course their budget for the particular business, because the regulated market are costly market in terms of the product development, in terms of the keeping the quality. If you are manufacturing a product in US FDA, it is a costly affair. The production is costly affair. The establishment of that plant is a cost. Then getting approved. There are many factors, but any bigger company would always focus on the SRA markets, where you have a better
Hitesh sir, are you there? I think there is some connectivity issue. We'll just hold till he joins back.
He'll log out, sir. I
No,
think he will join again.
he will join again. He will join again. I think he will. Hitesh, I think he has joined back. You can ask him to, yes. Hitesh, sir, can you hear us?
I think there is a, yeah, I can
Yes.
hear you. I think there is an issue with my internet.
Sir,
I'm
if I
sorry
may
for
request,
that. I was trying to.
if I may request you, आप अपना वीडियो ऑफ कर सकते हैं तो उससे भी इम्प्रूव हो जाता है कई बार सर.
Better. Let me stop my video. Yes. That is what I have done. I don't know where I left.
You were talking about the avenues and वहाँ से आपकी आवाज ब्रेक होनी स्टार्ट हो गई थी.
Yeah, now the voice is clear. Now the voice is clear. I think video needs to be shut down.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Is it there? Is it, sir? Yes, it is, sir. You can start, please.
Hello.
Hello, it is, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying where I left. If you can just tell me,
you can once again start from avenues.
Okay.
Please.
So avenues we were talking about. No, I think that slide was before this.
The previous slide, Ankit, please.
Okay, so I was talking about which all kind of companies we can get into. I was at the first kind of company, which is generally the Indian companies, where we have most of the Indian companies which operate in Indian domain as well as the international domain. Then the second, Ankit, we have to go to the previous slide. Those details are at previous slide. The second kind of companies are, there are few companies from India which are 100% export-oriented unit, or there are the companies which are, these export-oriented unit would be typically a manufacturing company which may not have any operations in India, and they will focus only in the exports. And the third kind of companies would be some company which are only marketing company and a trading company which may not have their own manufacturing base, but which may get their product manufactured from a third party, and however their focus would only be the international marketing. Then comes the overseas company. We have quite a few overseas companies which look for the Indian talent. Okay, these companies are, the first kind of companies are the overseas manufacturing company. There are quite a few manufacturing company, like a typical company in India which manufacture, which distribute, and which market. We have quite a few manufacturing companies outside India which look for an Indian talent. I can give you some examples, such as a company like Oman Pharma from Oman, a company like Mega Healthcare from Thailand, a company like Aspen Pharmacare from Nairobi. So there are quite a few companies which take Indian professionals, not only in sales and marketing, but even in other areas like quality assurance, quality control, engineering, production, even finance to some time. So those are the other company where we have the avenues to get into international marketing. Then we have the distribution companies. You know, all across world, we have many big distribution companies. Those companies would be the distributor of maybe a multinational, maybe an Indian company, maybe a company from Bangladesh, Pakistan, Thailand, Turkey, Egypt, anywhere and everywhere. Because most of the countries, we have very less domestic manufacturing. And there are countries which get the medication or pharmaceuticals or healthcare as high as 90% goods are imported goods. So what these companies do, they will import the drug from their principal partners, and they will have their own team for marketing. So for this particular purpose, they take quite a bit of Indian talent. That is one. Then one more aspect on this particular avenue, when we call it, we will have two kind of avenues. One, Indra, we will take question at last, please. Okay, you keep all the questions. We will have a question answer session.
Sure, sure. All the questions at the last, please.
Yeah. So we can have two kind of jobs in international pharmaceuticals. One would be a job where I am based in India and I am into international marketing. I'm working for McLeod, I'm working for Cadila, I'm working for Torrent, or most of the Indian companies, where I will have my team in India. I will have a regional manager for a particular region, or I will have a business manager for a particular region, and then there will be a full support team, the product management team, the supply chain team, and in factory there could be a dedicated QA and QC team. So that is one aspect of the avenues what we have, where we are based in India and we are working for the international marketing. One more avenue which is very much in now is business development. There are companies which are doing in licensing and out licensing. They need a lot of business development professionals, and in those cases you will be based out of India. Okay, then the other avenue is when I am based at the location in the particular country, and that kind of vacancies, that kind of opportunities are with both the companies, whether you are working for an Indian company or whether you are working for an overseas company. Then you have opportunity to work all based out of India in the particular location. Next slide, please. So if I talk about the typical career progression, okay, now what I understand, in PMT India, we will have more of the people, more of the audience from PMT who are into, PMT, maybe the product manager, maybe the product executive or senior product manager. So one thing I would like to tell very, very emphatically, that in international marketing, okay, but before that, let me try to give you an overview what I think, or I have put any slide of that. No, I have not put any slide. Let me try to give you a typical scenario of an international business in country international business. Okay, suppose I have an operation in a country. I would like to give example of Kenya only because I started my international career from there. So if I have a business in Kenya for an Indian company, say IPCA, where I was country manager once upon a time. Okay. So what will have in the country, I will have the medical representatives, I will have some line managers, and I will have a country manager. Okay. So the the hierarchy is very thin. There are not many people. Just try to understand that the population of the countries are quite less. If you are in a country like Cambodia, you have a population of maybe just 10 million. If you are in a country like Zambia, you have a population of just 20 million. 20 million is just 2 crore people. And if you are in a country like Kenya, you have a population of 50 million, so 5 crore. So in 5 crore, you will not have a big team, you will have a smaller team. So the hierarchy is less. Okay. So in that hierarchy or in that particular population of the field force, there is not many opportunity to have a product manager also. There are very few companies which will have a product manager stationed outside India. And then also, the career is not very great if you choose product management outside India for international marketing. Okay, let me try to explain you. You have come as a product manager in Kenya. I've seen recently one Indian company which was very aggressive. They brought a product manager in Kenya around 2 years back. Then the company did not do well, and they have reduced the number of people. So that particular person have to go back. And now when he goes back to India, 99% of the time, he will get more avenues in domestic pharma than international pharma. So what I'm saying, if you are keen to get into the international, you try to move either in the business management or the business development. Okay. Because from there, you will have a better career. I have many friends who came into international through product management background as a business manager or as a country manager, and then they have grown in their career. Quite a few of them are even vice president today in India, or quite a few are CEO in other companies. So, the career path, you have to be in country management or in business management area. Okay, so a particular how the career progresses in international pharma, you will join as a business manager or as an area manager or as a country manager, depending upon the country, depending upon the size of business, depending upon the size of people. In some country, you will have just 5 people. So country manager is as good as area manager, to be very frank. In terms of the number of team, but in terms of work, there are many more work which area manager never does. Then you grow as a regional manager. In regional manager, you will have a cluster of countries which some companies would like to base regional manager outside India, maybe in a particular strategic country from where he can look after 3, 4, or 10 countries of the region, and then you can become a continent head. Again, according to the company, you can be based outside India in a particular strategic location, or you can be based in India. Then the BU head, where you will be the head of the international BU, and you will be based in India. That is the typical career progression in Indian pharma, international pharma marketing. But there are few people like me who moved from Indian pharma to the local industry. So I moved from Indian company to a local African company as a chief marketing officer. From there, I grew as a CEO. So, but the scope is very less because there are very few companies which are which are manufacturing company. However, there are very, very big distribution company where you can grow in your career because these distribution companies, they hold as high as 90% of the market. And this market would be through their principal companies from where they get the product. Next. Okay, I tried to get some data so that we can keep the talk on a perspective. It is not that international market is a big avenue or international pharma job market is a big avenue. There are not many positions. Okay. Because if you see in Africa, which is at number one, we have around 275. It is a guesstimated number, I would say. We have around 275 people in sales and marketing, and another 108 people in other sectors, other segments. And these people would mostly working with the distributor, where they would be working. Maybe many distributors will have the wholesale shop also. So many of them would be working in a wholesale shop as a shop manager. Few of them would be working in the godowns. Few of them would be working as a sales rep or sales manager. So these 108 would be those people which doesn't fit for your profile, my target audience profile, who is in this webinar. So this 275 people are in Africa. In Southeast Asia, we have around 109 people in sales and marketing, and other 87 people in other areas. Then in LATAM, we have only 41 people in sales and marketing and around 7 people in other area, which would be with some bigger companies, basically in finance and in supply chain. And in CIS, we have around 110 sales and marketing professional. They could be the line managers, or they could be the country head, they could be the regional head, and another 47 people in different other heads. So I have spoken with my friends all across world, and I tried to get a feeling or an understanding how big is the market in terms of the job market. So this is what is the avenue for you when you think of staying or deputing outside India. Next.
Wonderful data. Wonderful data.
Ankit, next, please.
Next slide, please, Ankit.
Okay. What should be my entry strategy? I think all of us know how we can get into international marketing, but whatever my experience, I would like to reiterate those things which you already know. Basically, if I am in a company where I have the domestic marketing as well as the international marketing, I can always, many of the Indian companies, they like their good performer to take into international marketing. That is one thing. I remember whether it is Cadila in those era of 1990s, our good managers, when I was still a medical rep, all good managers, they used to go to international marketing, maybe to Africa or to CIS. Those were the two avenues in that era. Still, I believe in many countries, many companies such as McLeod, such as even Cadila Pharma, there are many companies where the people come from domestic to even Sun Pharma, where people come from domestic to international. That is number one. Number two is whether it is Indian organization or overseas organization, there are only two ways. One is job board. Of late, LinkedIn has come up very well, where you will find many vacancies, whether it is from an Indian company or whether it is from an overseas company. Overseas company and also Naukri.com. Because overseas company understand that Naukri.com is a Indian specific job site. And when they look for an Indian professional, they go to Naukri.com. Okay. And of course, the consultants, there are quite a few active consultants who work for international locations from India. So those are the few places where you should be targeting to get into international marketing. The other thing is you can get into an Indian company in India in international division, and from there you can always, there are a better chances to get into international location. Next. Okay, now entry strategy. What should be my entry strategy? Okay, because at what career stage I should look for an overseas opportunity. At every stage, people come outside India. I've seen the people, even at a vice president level, they have moved to international location, but those are very, very rare cases. Okay. The best time to move to international location is when you are at the stage of area manager and regional manager. Okay. Before that, I am just remembering because I have seen that there are few colleagues from multinationals also in the audience. So for them, I would say that there are many multinationals who take their people from India to international. I worked in Novartis. From Novartis, if I see from that era of my colleagues, at least 5 and 6 people are in international marketing in Novartis still. I was there in 2002 to 2000, I think 5-6. So, so if you are in a multinational, there would be definitely an internal system where you can get into international this thing. I've seen many of my friends who are in AstraZeneca, in Allergan, who are from India, Novartis, yeah, even GSK, where you get a chance to go out of India. For that, the basic rule is the same. You have to be a good performer. And then you need to show your interest that you are interested to go out of India. So, because I just remembered that we have some colleagues from the multinationals. For them, the best and the easiest way is to get through their own companies. Okay. So the career stage, I would say it is the best career stage is when you are an area manager or regional manager. That time you can get into you should try to get into international marketing, because when you become a zonal manager, national sales manager, then there are two things. Number one is your pay package becomes a bit higher, because when I come to international, I always think that my salary or my package should grow by 80% to 100% kind of thing. So when I'm already a costly person, then getting a hike in that is generally not possible. And by that time, you have your grown-up kids also. So company also, it would be difficult. I would come in that point also, the family point in international marketing. I will come with that. So, with the age also, by that time, you have a age where your kids are growing, the education is a issue. So when you are young, even if you are not married, those are the best time when you can get into international marketing. And for country manager, a young country manager, any company like to have, be it means whether it is an Indian company or an overseas company, anybody would like to have a person of maybe 32 years kind of age. Organization, what kind of organization you need to look? Okay, now there is a variety of organization. What I say, you need to do a good, because there may be a company which is doing extremely well in Ukraine, okay, and in India or sitting in Africa, I even don't know the name of that company. There would be many companies like this. So, whenever you are getting an opportunity, you should get into an interview, and then you should do the right research that what kind of company it is. And with this era of internet, we have good scope to do the research. I should not see that whether it is the top 10 Indian company or top 10 MNC where I should get into. I should get into a company which is a good company in the particular country. And definitely when you are looking into the company, you should look into the history of the employees, how the employees remain in that company, and what is the movement of the employees. and then definitely what kind of amenities, what kind of atmosphere, what kind of money they are giving to you as a country manager. So it is always good to get into international with a company where you are not compromising much. Okay. Then salary package. Salary package. I think I have put a separate slide on salary package where I will discuss in detail about the salary package. So these are the three things. Basically, I go to international, whether it is India or international, to get a better flavor, a different flavor, if not better, a better, a better professional atmosphere, I would say, and then to have a bit better money also. Third. Ankit, next, please. Okay. Generally, in salary or in emoluments, we have following, we have these things which I have tried to jot it down. One is the local expenses. Then we have our accommodation, we have medical, we have school fees. These are the basics, I would say. You know, local expenses would be different from different countries. If I am in a country, maybe like Cambodia, I will have a different local expenses. If I am in a country like Malaysia, I will have very different expenses for the same thing. And if I am in, Brazil or Mexico or Russia, my expenses will be very high. So I need to do research what kind of local expenses I have. Accommodation may vary from 200 USD to 2000 USD country to country. Okay, so I need to know what would be the accommodation. Medical is very, very important. In fact, in most of the country, most of the companies will either have the medical insurance or the medical will be reimbursed 100%. So that you need to be clear before joining the company, because this could be an issue at times. And then the school fees. If I have kids in most of the countries, English is not the major language. So the English would be taught only in international schools, and the international school will have a fees of maybe 2000 USD per month kind of fees. So 20,000 USD per month, if I translate into Indian rupees, it is around 16 lakh rupees, Indian rupees. So Indian company will always calculate in rupees. So it becomes very, very challenging task with Indian companies. Okay. But again, because company earn that kind of money and company pay all these things, but we need to know before venturing into this, what all my company is giving. You know, company is giving you $4,000 salary. You think it is a good salary, and when you landed in the country, you come to know that $4,000 is only the school fees of your kids. Then other perks, car and driver, almost every company gives. This is not a big thing. Then a phone is also fine. Home travel, yes, there are few companies which gives home travel. Home travel means your ticket from your base country to India and 1 month's paid holiday once in a year, or there are a few companies which gives once in 2 years. So these are the basically the perks which any company gives. And then all these we are doing to have a saving, which is important. Okay. I think saving I will discuss in next slide. I have another slide which again is talking about the salary. So these are the emoluments which we get, which we should have when we are getting into the international location as far as my job is concerned. Ankit, next, please. Okay, salary negotiation. Ideally, there is no law, no rule. Whatever I am talking, what I am telling, it is as per my experience or as per my understanding of the industry practices. Basically, in international market or international role, you negotiate salary on saving potential. Okay, I may have a salary of 10,000 USD. Okay, but I'm placed in a country where I can't save even a penny out of the 10,000 USD. So that doesn't make any sense. Okay. I may be having a salary of 2,000 USD in a country, but if I can save 1,000 USD in that particular country, that is a good negotiation. Okay. So whenever you are getting into, let me tell you very frankly, most of the companies know it, and they decide the salary according to the country's expenses. You know, when I joined IPCA in 2006, we were 3 country managers. I went to Kenya, my other colleague went to Ghana, and the third gentleman went to Venezuela. So the salary of Venezuela was around 3 times of our salary, because Venezuela was very costly country, whether it is housing, whether it is the daily need things, there was very, very costly. So those things has to be we need to do the right research of all these before signing the contract or signing the offer letter. Okay. What I believe, whatever saving I have today, when I'm working in India, my saving should be at least double of that. Then only it makes a sense to go out of India, at least double. Most of the companies, they think that when you go out, you should be starting with $500 to $1,000 saving kind of thing. That kind of thought process most of the company have, and they decide their salary accordingly, and that is true with the overseas company also. They also understand why the person is coming outside, and there are challenges. It is not that everything is rosy when you move out of your country. Next. Okay, everything is not positive. There are many challenges. It looks very rosy, very lovely, very nice from outside, that the person is having an overseas posting. In Facebook and in Instagram, we all put only good things. We never put what are the challenges we are facing. So what we see in Facebook and any of the social media, we see only good things. But it is very tough, I would say, to be in a foreign country. The first problem, the first challenge is culture. I am born and brought up in India, which is typically traditional. Then I am coming to a country like maybe Peru, or a country like Russia or Ukraine, or even African countries, where the culture is very different. Okay, their basic values are very, very different than our basic values, and we can't even think of those kind of things which our thought process is very different from their thought process. So when you are in the country, you have to work with them. So practically you have to understand, you have to appreciate their culture, then only you can be comfortable. If you always say that, okay, ये तो सब बेकार हैं, क्या करते हैं, बिना शादी के ही बच्चा हो जाता है. There are so many things which we never like. Okay, you have a medical rep which has 3 kids, and all those 3 kids are from 3 different fathers, which as a culturally we can't accept. So there are so many, and those things are normal for these people. Okay, so that is a very big thing which we have to adapt as soon as we get into international business, which is not easy. It is very easy to tell in a webinar, but it is very difficult to appreciate, understand, and work with them. Then the professional challenges. You are the only Indian in the particular place. Okay, whether you're subordinate or whether your bosses, they all are from different nationality. They have a different style of working. In fact, on last Sunday we had another webinar whether we have a speaker from Cambodia, she was telling that in Cambodia, the medical rep or the office people, they will work up to 11:30. From 11:30 to 2, nobody will work on a day. They will, any medical rep, they will go to their home, they will eat, and then they will sleep. Okay. In office, the person at 12, they will leave the desk. They will go and they will come back and sleep on the desk. Okay. In Indian context, we can never understand and appreciate these things. Lunch means lunch. In India, हमें याद है कि जब हम एरिया मैनेजर और रीजनल मैनेजर थे, तो लंच तो हमारा 4 बजे 5 बजे ही होता था, और कई बार तो मूंगफली और समोसा खा के ही लंच होता था. बट यहाँ पे लंच है तो मीन्स लंच है. आपकी 2 कॉल चली जाए उससे कोई मतलब नहीं है, बट लंच आपको करना है. सो दोज आर द थिंग्स. Okay, that is the way country runs. So you have to run according to them, according to the culture, according to the system of the country. Then food is a big issue, and even for vegetarian, it becomes a very, very challenging thing. I remember one of my good friend who came in Africa, who was a Jain, and the issue was with him that he can't eat anything, that he can't eat potato. So in vegetarian, here chicken and fish are vegetarian. So he can't even eat potato. So most of the places you will get mostly potato. So he was not doing, the tours. He was not going out of the main city, and it affected his performance, and ultimately he has to lose the job. So I can get vegetarian food outside India, but the taste of that vegetarian would be very, very different than our vegetarian. Okay. Then the emotional challenge. There are few countries where we don't feel that we are out of India, and fortunately, I have worked only on those kind of countries. Basically, in East Africa, we have a lot of Indian community. We have temples, we have gurudwaras, all the the festival we celebrate here even better than what we celebrate in India, because there are a lot of local Asian, the people who have come many years back from India and who are doing business in this continent. So I don't have any those kind of challenge. But if you are in Venezuela, where you have only 12 Indian families all across country, okay, it becomes very, very challenging. Then the language, everybody is speaking Spanish. You may learn language, you may speak, but you will never be comfortable. Okay. So, and every time you are out of country, in some country you may get a dish TV where you can get some Indian news, but there are many countries where you can't even afford the dish TV because the charges are so expensive. Okay, language is definitely a barrier, and if you are in Latin America, you need to learn the Spanish. If you are in French West Africa, you need to learn French. If you are in Russia, you need to learn Russian language, and without that, ideally you can't do the job. And it is not a big challenge according to me. If you are working with them all day and all night, you learn those language, and you become fluent with the time. Then the other challenge comes with kids' upbringing and its future. Now, you have young kids who are in KG, nursery, or in primary, fine. Even up to class 8, I don't think there is an issue. But in most of the country, you have issues when the kids goes into high school, because if it is because of the language, basically language and the medium, the curriculum, and at that juncture, if you have to go back to India, which is quite possible, you have reached to a stage where after that you don't have a career there, so you have to go back to India. And settling back in India when your kid is in a foreign country for 10 years, 12 years, after that, getting back in India is a challenging task. It is a very, very traumatic thing for the kids. Okay, So those are the challenges. However, there are n number of peoples who have settled in these countries, whether it is Latin America, whether it is Russia, whether it is Africa, whether it is Southeast Asia. The country managers, the professionals who came years back, maybe 20 years back, 15 years back, even as early as recent as 5 years back. Many of them, they have started their own business and they are settled well. There are many people who have taken the local, local, what you call it, not residency, but the permanent residency kind of thing. So they are in the dual citizenship kind of thing. They have an Indian passport and they have the local passport also. Those kind of dual citizenship, many of people have taken in many countries. So there are, we have all kind of people, and there are many people who have stayed in overseas even 20 years, 25 years, and they have gone back to India and they are doing well in India. In the international market, they are the president and the vice president in the company. Many of them have their own businesses in India, which is the export-oriented business. So there are people who have stayed back in the countries and they have become in these countries, and there are many people who have. I'm talking about very long term, but when you are deciding now, you have to think of long term. Next. Okay, all the best. I think I've tried to give as much as possible what I think in a practical way. However, international business or international pharma marketing or international pharma business is not the only option for an Indian pharma professional. Even in the domestic also, we have great career. And there are more opportunities, more avenues in domestic pharma than international pharma. We have our own advantages and in international pharma, and we have our own advantages in domestic pharma. Welcome for the questions.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, you can switch on your video now.
Let me try.
Right. And I would request all the audience to switch on their videos. And Ankit, if you can ask them to unmute. Yes, thank you so much. And now we can have question and answer session. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask. I have, yes.
Good evening, sir. Do you hear me?
Rajkumar, I can't listen you. I can't hear you, sir.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, sir,
Yes, sir.
a question from Indra Pratap. He's asking that is there any ratio of selecting Indian people in the organizations?
No, Indra, in fact, that for your information, Indra is my ex-colleague. We have worked together in one of the companies, and now he is working for an international, a multinational. That's why that point came in my mind that he can move to the international location from his own company. Indra, there is no such ratio, because any vacancy will be will come up as per the requirement of the company.
Thank you, sir. First of all, my regards to you. And after a long time to hear you on such a great platform, it is my pleasure. So my regards to you, sir. And thank you so much for answering this question. And sir, I would like to ask one more question to you, if time allows.
Indra,
Yeah, please.
if you can please switch on your video.
Yeah, sir. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are
Yeah,
audible.
you are audible.
Okay. So, sir, I want to know that, nowadays, for international pharma marketing, I have seen so many vacancies in LinkedIn and other platform also. but there is a capping everywhere that you must have experience of African market. So it is not like earlier time, like you can get a job easily in international pharma market, because everywhere there is a condition that you need to have an experience of 2 years, 3 years from any African market or any African country. So how to tackle this if somebody is applying from India?
In that particular vacancy, you are not eligible, so you are not eligible. Okay. If an employer wants that you should have an experience of Africa or the particular continent, you can't go there. The only thing, still there are so many companies who take the fresher in the sense who has the experience of the domestic market, and who, still there are so many companies who take country manager from India, who is the area manager or regional manager from India. So there are more scope. You need to do your search. You need to do your search more intensely now. You will get.
Right, sir. And sir, one more question. Sir, if somebody wants to join on a higher grade, like even above than country manager, is it possible that somebody from India can join as a country head to any African company, or in a better position? Is it possible?
And anything is possible. That is what I'm saying. I know many people who were the vice president in India, and they got a place here. But please understand, those kind of vacancies are rare. Those kind of vacancies are rare. Okay, you can get, but it's a bit more challenging than getting at your level at your age. That is better. Don't wait long.
Right, sir. Sir, is there any particular consultant or any particular site where a person should apply, or maybe?
I think LinkedIn. You will get in LinkedIn also. All the consultants who post their vacancies in LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for answering.
Welcome. Nice to see you after long, Indra.
Yeah. Thank you. Same here, sir.
Hitesh sir.
Yeah.
Hitesh sir.
Who is this, please?
Sir, मैं चिराग मेहता Cadila Pharma से. So it was nice to listen to you for 1 hour. It was quite thought-provoking session of yours.
Yeah, Mr. Chirag.
हाँ सर, बहुत मजा आया, and it was quite meaningful and sir learnings था. सर मेरा एक question है. I have one question for you. May I?
Yeah, please.